Hey settlers, I'm your host Ben, and here is a hidden story that I feel needs telling. Please subscribe for more true stories that might get lost in time. The true story of the shopkeeper's ghosts. In the Cotswolds, some villages are so small they don't even appear on most maps. Aston Mallow is one of those. Barely more than a huddle of stone cottages, a single winding lane, and a view of sheep grazing on the hills. A quintessential hamlet of organised rubble. It's the sort of place where time moves slow, the old ways linger, and everyone knows your business, even before you do. A few months ago, Simon Carter moved his family into Aston Mallow and took over the teeny tiny shop at its heart. To the Carters, it was a new start. To the village, it was a chance for something to stay the same. Simon and Joe and their 2 children and a cat unpacked under the gaze of every neighbour. The shop was a relic. Painted sign, creaking floors, shelves lined with everything from milk to shoe polish to lemon curd. Simon relished it. He wanted a life with real conversations, not checkout beeps and unexpected items in the bagging area. That first week, every villager popped in for a chat. Welcomes, advice, gossip. The shop was alive with introductions and local stories. But after the first burst, patterns began to form. Some faces came in daily, always at the same time. There was Mrs. Ballard, the vicar's wife, who bought flour and exchanged recipes with Joe. There was Mr. Croft, who argued about the price of eggs and always tried to slip a sweet to the children. But Simon noticed others. Faces he didn't quite remember seeing around the village square. A tall, thin man in a worn tweed coat every Tuesday morning purchased a tin of sardines. No words, just a nod. An old woman with neat grey curls, always in a faded blue cardigan, came for barley sugars, only lemon. A little girl in old-fashioned plaits, eyes wide, always carrying a tattered comic book, Bunty. Simon noticed a relic even in his childhood. They seemed shy, almost faded, and Simon found himself watching them with puzzled curiosity. Days slipped into weeks. Simon prided himself on remembering customers, so the patterns stood out. The odd customers never changed their routine. Same items, same day, same time, even the same coins, old shillings, tarnished coppers. Simon's till held a growing pile of coins that didn't quite match the rest. He tried to greet them differently, asking about their day, recommending something new. Most simply nodded or blinked in confusion. Only sometimes, like a flicker of a dusty mirror, something different happened. The sardine man smiled, whispered, "Thank you." The girl laughed when he gave her a boiled sweet. Simon felt like he cracked the code. He started to look forward to these moments. One Saturday, Simon asked Mrs. Ballard about the girl. "Do you know her family? She's always so polite." Mrs. Ballard looked away, fiddled with her purse. "Oh, everyone here's family in a way. Some faces are old friends, you know." He tried again at the pub. "That gentleman in the tweed, is he new?" The publican just polished a glass. "Long-standing customer, Simon, one of the fixtures." No one ever answered him straight. Even Joe seemed evasive. "Don't fret, the villagers keep their secrets, that's how places like this stay alive." Simon adored the slower pace of life. He wrote lists by hand, dusted the shelves, swept the floor at closing time. He kept a paper ledger for stock, ignoring Joe's hints to get a tablet, it's easier. He liked the feel of paper, the rhythm of a pencil. He was an analog man in a world that, even here, kept turning digital. Simon began to test his theory. He moved the sardines to a higher shelf. Still, Tuesday at 9, the man in tweed reached for them without hesitation. He swapped the lemon barley sugars for orange. The old woman paused, stared for a moment, then shook her head and left empty-handed. He even offered the girl a new comic. She blinked, confused, before wordlessly setting the bunty down and walking out. The old customers could not break the pattern. He started a notebook tracking times, items, coins, little lines of mystery week after week. But every so often, something glimmered. The sardine man, on a stormy morning, lingered at the counter. "The storm's a bad one, isn't it?" he muttered, his voice like a memory. The little girl dropped her comic, looked up and smiled. "My mum says you have kind eyes." Simon felt a warmth, something that pulled at his heart, even as it made his skin prickle. He pressed a little harder with the other villagers. He asked the postman, "Odd how some folk never change, isn't it?" The postman shrugged. Aston Mallow's a place where the past and present mix. It's part of its charm. Even the children at the schoolyard, when Simon picked up his son, would giggle and say, "Don't worry, Mr. Carter, everyone's welcome here." He found himself looking at an old photo on the shop wall, faces frozen in black and white. There was the sardine man, the old woman, the little girl, all standing in front, smiling. He blinked, double-took. He checked the date. It read 1952. Joe noticed him staring. "What's wrong, sire?" He shook his head. "Just something's out of place. Feels like everyone's been here forever." Joe squeezed his hand. "Maybe that's what you want, isn't it? Roots?" But Simon felt something else, a chill, an unease. He watched the shop's reflection at night. Sometimes he thought he saw a customer inside, moving quietly, even after closing. He started locking up earlier, double-checking the stock, counting the coins that never seemed to add up. Finally, one quiet Monday, Simon confronted Mrs. Ballard. He caught her in the shop, picking over apples. "Mrs. Ballard, who are they? The girl, the man, the tweed? They're here every week, but they're not like the others." Mrs. Ballard sighed, looked at him long and hard. "Simon, some folks are part of Aston Mallow. Old stories, old faces. They keep the place going. You do too, now. But are they?" She pressed her finger to her lips, smiling softly. "Best not to ask. Just serve with kindness. That's all that matters, and that's all they want." The next morning, Simon stood behind the counter watching the sunlight creep across the floorboards. He opened the door, rang the bell, and waited. The sardine man arrived, nodding as always. The old woman smiled, taking her lemon barley sugar. The little girl skipping in, Bunty under her arm. Simon served each of them carefully, gently. He understood now. They were his customers. Not living, perhaps. Not in the usual sense. But still part of the village. Part of the shop. Part of what made Aston Mallow alive. Joe asked later that night if he was happy. Simon nodded. "Yes, I think I am. Even the ones who don't say much. Maybe they need this as much as I do." The village, in a way, thrived. People came and went. The shop remained. Living and dead, all welcome. Simon swept the floor, locked the door, and wrote the day's accounts in his battered ledger. A quiet bridge between worlds, analog and digital, past and present. If you walk past the shop in Aston Mallow, you might hear the bell jingle at midnight. See a figure moving in the window, serving a customer who leaves no footprint. But the light is always warm, and there is always someone behind the counter. because in this tiniest of Cotswold hamlets, the past never really leaves. And sometimes all it takes is a good shopkeeper to keep the story alive. Thank you for staying with me. If you got this far, then you probably like lost stories. Thusly, I recommend this video right here. And if you would like to give us a like and subscribe, that really does help.